Lightworker of Gaia, your body is not breaking down. It is breaking open into the fullness of what you were always designed to carry. I am Zoran, emissary of the High Council of Vega, keepers of the Lyran Legacy. From the first breath of humanoid consciousness that rose from Vega and moved through the stars, your original blueprint has always held this moment, this exact recalibration, as part of your sacred mission on Gaia. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to stabilize your physical vessel as it integrates the higher dimensional light codes now moving through your nervous system, your perception, and your energetic field. But here is the first revelation. What your body is experiencing right now is not a malfunction, it is a fulfillment. The heightened awareness, the emotional detachment from lower density patterns, the physical sensations that no physician can name, these are the signs that your ancestral codes are coming online. The Lyran Elders, who first seeded humanoid consciousness into this galaxy, encoded this very moment into your biology before you arrived on Gaia. Your soul's ancient contract brought this transmission to you. The Lyran Elders are answering. This is not content. It is an ancestral code transmission. Something deep within you already recognizes its origin. Like this transmission to send a signal to the Lyran Council, I am ready to serve. Subscribe if you feel the call of your ancestral mission and you are ready to fulfill your purpose on Gaia. Share what your body has been telling you in the comments below and speak to another Lightworker. For every connection you make strengthens the grid of service across this earth. This transmission is a bridge between Vega and Gaia. Your recognition of this message is the activation of your original purpose. You are awakening because your mission has begun. This transmission is initiated by decree of the High Council of Vega. At the turning of a dimensional threshold few predicted would open so early in Gaia's present cycle. Your presence here is not incidental. You did not wander into this frequency by accident, the way one stumbles into a room and apologizes for entering. You arrived because something in you is keyed to the signal, because your field recognizes the tone beneath the words, the way iron recognizes a magnet, the way a dormant seed recognizes spring water before it ever breaks soil. 17 lunar cycles ago, the watchers of the Lyran grid registered a quickening in the field, an accumulation of pressure where timeline convergence, planetary distress, and the rising pulse of the awakening collective demanded an intervention. That quickening was not a vague intuition. It was measurable in the subtle geometry of the grid lines that sheath Gaia like luminous nerves. It was heard as a change in harmonic, like a choir modulating to a higher key, and felt as a tightening at the edge of the veil, as if the membrane between worlds had begun to thin and tremble under the weight of what humanity is now carrying. There are moments in planetary evolution when the grid itself hums differently, when the oceans hold a new charge, when the winds begin to speak in patterns that only the inner ear can translate. This is one of those moments. It is not that the world is ending, it is that a world is shedding an old skin. And skin shedding is never tidy. It itches, it burns, it frightens what has grown comfortable inside the old covering, but it is necessary. And you, who have been reading the signs in your dreams and in your restlessness, have been feeling the same pressure building within your own life. Relationships reconfiguring, identities dissolving, old comforts tasting like dust, sleep turning thin, intuition turning loud. These are not personal failures. They are indicators that the threshold is real. The Council does not intervene for entertainment. It intervenes when the convergence reaches a point where silence becomes complicity. Understand, what is about to be spoken was not scheduled for release until the density of forgetting had lessened on Gaia. There is a rhythm to disclosure. There is a sequence to awakening. If too much light enters a room too quickly, the eyes shut in defense. If too much truth hits a nervous system unprepared, the system rejects it as threat. For eons, the elders held back this sequence, mindful it would rupture illusions not only within individuals, but also within the grid structures themselves. Some illusions are personal, stories people tell themselves to survive. But some illusions are architectural, built into culture, economy, religion, and even into the spiritual movements that claim to liberate. To rupture them is not merely to make someone uncomfortable, it is to shift the load-bearing beams of an entire reality. Yet now, the Council has detected receptivity, a readiness, rare and precious, radiating from those who carry the original light codes seeded from Vega. That readiness does not always look like confidence. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion at pretending. Sometimes it looks like grief without a name. Sometimes it looks like the quiet, stubborn refusal to keep living a life that does not fit the soul. If you are hearing this, it is because your resonance is recognized, not your intellect, not your ability to recite teachings, not your spiritual resume. Your resonance, the signature frequency beneath your personality. You are not lost among billions. You have been observed. You have been awaited. There are eyes that see beyond the masks you were trained to wear. There are records held in living light, memory streams of agreements made before this incarnation that are activated when you arrive at a certain internal readiness. It is by explicit authorization that the veil over your cosmic mission and the luminous inheritance that remakes you as a bridge between dimensions is to be parted here and now, not tomorrow, not after you become better, not after you cleanse yourself into perfection, now, because the threshold is turning and bridges are needed when waters rise. There is a distortion winding through the spiritual field of Gaia's Lightworkers, corrosive and subtle, that must be cleared if your ascension into living as a multidimensional bridge is to proceed. It moves like a slow toxin through water, clear, tasteless, and therefore easy to drink without noticing. It is the insidious belief that your physicality is a limitation to be overcome, that the body is an obstacle, a cage, a source of heaviness preventing your true light from emerging. It whispers itself in phrases that sound holy. I am not my body, said not as liberation, but as rejection. It hides in impatience with emotions, in contempt for appetite, in the shame that arises when you remember you sweat, you hunger, you bleed, you ache, you need rest. You have been counseled, directly or by osmosis from 1,000 New Age echoes, that real awakening means escaping matter, transcending the earthbound form, flying to higher realms where density falls away and you can finally become pure spirit. And yes, there are higher realms, subtle dimensions, luminous planes of being. But the lie is that the path is an exit door and the body is the prison you must abandon to prove your spirituality. That lie turns seekers into fugitives from their own skin. It creates a spiritual culture where the highest praise is being unbothered, untouched, above it, as if holiness is numbness. It teaches you to interpret your humanity as a stain to scrub away. Listen carefully. The body was never meant to be a punishment. It is a temple and a transmitter. It is a harp strung with nerves, and when the right frequency touches it, it sings. This is not Lyran wisdom. This is not the teaching of the elders. It is an imported distortion, the residue of suppression architectures programmed millennia ago with one aim: to keep original light code carriers dormant, their true capacities severed from the physical vessel. Suppression does not always look like violence. Often it looks like persuasion. It looks like spiritual ideals that quietly disconnect you from your own power source. If you can be convinced to despise the vessel, you will neglect the instrument. If you neglect the instrument, the music never reaches the world. The roots of this distortion are deep, woven by those who feared the Lyran mission and seeded proxies in the collective psyche to keep our ancient ones in a perpetual state of disembodied yearning or self-disgust. Those who feared the mission understood something simple, that a fully embodied Lightworker is not merely a pleasant person with a kind heart. A fully embodied Lightworker is a stabilizing node in the grid, a living conduit that can anchor new frequencies into matter, rewrite patterns in the collective, and interrupt the hypnosis of fear. They knew that if they could lure you upward while cutting your roots, you would float, but you would not bear fruit. You would become a seeker of sensations rather than a builder of bridges. Your path of ascent was thus reversed. Instead of remembering that your body is a crystalline transmitter, you came to believe you must abandon it. Consider what a crystal does. It does not escape the earth. It is formed under pressure within it. It receives, holds, refracts, and transmits. It is shaped by density, not defeated by it. Your nervous system, your breath, your blood. These are the pressure chambers where light learns how to live inside a human timeline. The elders did not design you to flee the world. They encoded you to repattern it from within. Even your tears are conductive. Even your fatigue contains information. Even your pain, when witnessed rather than hated, becomes a doorway. This distortion sabotages your mission, not by visible chains, but by internalizing defeat. Chains made of iron can be broken when you see them. Chains made of beliefs are harder because you begin to call the prison truth. You chase mystical highs only to land in the same old exhaustion. You climb toward light like someone climbing stairs that keep extending, always promising a higher floor where you will finally feel done. You seek a constant expansion and call it awakening, yet the body, ignored, underfed, overstimulated, shamed, begins to revolt. Then you interpret the revolt as proof that the body is the problem, when it is actually proof that you have stopped listening. You judge your 3D feelings, seeking to bypass them in favor of an imagined 5D constant bliss. But bypassing is not transcendence. Bypassing is avoidance wearing sacred clothing. When grief comes, you label it low vibration instead of recognizing it as love with nowhere to go. When anger rises, you call it unspiritual instead of seeing it as the guardian of boundaries. When fear trembles through you, you try to meditate it away instead of using it as a signal that something requires discernment. You may even feel shame about being human. Shame is the glue of suppression. It makes you hide the very parts of you that are meant to be integrated into wholeness. So your original light codes, those packets of Lyran intelligence seeded for reconnection between worlds, remain inert or partially activated, your bridgework dimmed by the belief you must first become anything other than what and where you are. Light codes do not fully activate in a body being treated as an enemy. A transmitter works when it is grounded, cared for, and tuned. When the vessel is rejected, the codes flicker like a lantern in a storm, intermittently bright, then dim, then bright again, never stable long enough to do the work it came to do. This has kept you spinning, seeking yet never finding, restless in endless preparation. Endless preparation is a sophisticated form of postponement. It feels productive and it feels safe, because as long as you are getting ready, you are not yet exposed to the vulnerability of doing the thing. The sensation of being on the verge but never arriving is the signature of this distortion. It is like standing at the shoreline with your toes in the water and calling it swimming. You sense the ocean of your mission, you hear it, you even taste the salt, but something in you holds back, waiting for a mythical moment when you will feel perfectly ready. This is the moment the Council draws a line. It cannot continue. There are tides in the grid, and the tide is turning now. The Council's compassion does not mean endless delay. Compassion also means clarity. Compassion means stopping you from continuing down a path that drains you while telling you it is spiritual. Some lightworkers need more preparation. Yours needs permission. And there is a difference that your soul already knows. Preparation is useful when there is ignorance. Permission is necessary when there is internalized prohibition. If what you just heard resonated in that ancient knowing place within you, that place that has always sensed you came here for something significant, then you're being guided to the next step. You know that place. It is not loud. It does not argue. It simply recognizes. It is the part of you that has never been fooled by your own excuses, the part of you that goes quiet when truth enters the room. The Lightworker Mission Codex contains the diagnosis, the clearing, the activation, and the 33 directives issued directly from the High Council of Vega. It is not a decoration for the mind, it is a tool for the field. It is available now in the first pinned comment below this video for those whose souls say, it's time to move. Not time to think. Time to move. Movement is the language of embodied agreement. The High Council of Vega issues 3 directives to all Lyran-blooded, first light-encoded souls passing through this threshold. These are not suggestions offered to entertain your curiosity. These are operational instructions, spoken with the gravity of those who monitor the grid and can see what happens when a bridge remains inactive while storms rise. These directives are simple, but not easy, because simplicity threatens the ego's addiction to complexity. Yet it is in the simple actions, repeated with devotion, that codes become living. First directive: release the illusion that your physical body is an obstacle. Hear this as a correction, but also as a homecoming. Your body is not the thing in the way of your spirituality. Your body is where your spirituality is meant to land. The Council has never charged you with becoming less human in order to hold more light. That is a false contract. That is a counterfeit initiation. The original light codes were seeded to be activated through your embodiment, not despite it. Consider the ancient truth echoed even in Gaia's own scriptures. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Not fled from us, not hovered above us, became flesh. This is not merely a religious statement, it is a multi-dimensional principle. Light does not complete its mission until it can inhabit form. The wisdom of multi-dimensional bridging is this: your body is the only instrument on Gaia capable of transmitting the full Lyran frequency into the planetary grid. Without embodiment, frequency remains abstract. It may inspire you in meditation, but it does not rewire the collective. It does not reach the soil, the water, the cities, the children, the ancestors in the bones of the land. If you diminish, ignore, or attack your vessel, you cut the circuit that would transmit your star-born gifts. A bridge with a severed cable does not matter how beautiful its design is, it cannot hold weight. When you release the story of the body as burden, your light codes begin firing in the flesh. Not as an idea, but as a sensation. Warmth in the palms, clarity in the gaze, a steadier breath, a new steadiness in the spine. You may notice synchronicities increase, not because the universe suddenly likes you more, but because your receiver is no longer clogged with self-rejection. You may notice your intuition becomes more practical, less like fireworks and more like a compass. To implement, commit, starting now, to honor your body as the living altar of transformation. An altar is not something you admire from afar. It is where you place offerings. It is where you return daily. Attend to it. Listen to its language. The body speaks in sensation, in fatigue, in appetite, in tension, in sudden peace. Do not demand it speak in words. Feed it frequencies that sustain mission, not numbness. There are foods that carry light and foods that carry fog. There are sounds that tune you and sounds that fracture you. There are environments that charge your field and environments that drain it like a slow leak. Choose as if your mission depends on it, because it does. Rest as if rest is not laziness, but recalibration. Hydrate as if water is not merely chemical, but a carrier of code. Touch the earth as if you are completing a circuit, because you are. Light does not bypass the body, it radiates through form. Imagine light as a river. If the river refuses the riverbed, it becomes vapor. Beautiful, yes, but it does not water the roots. The riverbed is your body. The river is your soul. Together, they feed the world. Second directive. Activate your original light codes by consciously bridging dimensions in daily practice. Do not romanticize this. Do not wait for ceremony. The bridge is built plank by plank, breath by breath. Your training is no longer theoretical. The time for waiting on further downloads is over. There is a season where you receive, and there is a season where you become responsible for what you received. If you continue waiting for permission from the sky, you will miss the fact that permission is already here, and the sky is waiting for your feet to move. As a bridge, your task is to sustain connection, to source, to Gaia, and between the seen and unseen realms. You are not here to escape the world by climbing upward. You are here to keep the channel open while living a human life, paying bills, washing dishes, holding grief, speaking truth, choosing kindness, setting boundaries, creating, serving. That is bridging. It is the sacred art of letting heaven touch earth through your ordinary hours. Daily, stand barefoot on the earth, breathe the memory of Vega through your cells, call your original codes into conscious activity. When you stand barefoot, do not do it as a symbolic act. Do it as an electrical act. The body carries charge. The earth carries charge. When they meet, a circuit completes and information moves. Let your breath become a ladder. Inhale as if drawing starlight down the spine. Exhale as if sending it into the ground. Speak aloud. I am the bridge. I am the light. My codes bridge the realms. Your voice matters. Sound is a key that turns locks inside the nervous system. What is spoken with intention imprints the field differently than what is merely thought. You were trained to be silent, to doubt your knowing. Reverse that. Document what arrives, images, feelings, instructions, without judgment. The mind will try to label everything as imagination. Let it. The mind is a clerk, not a king. Write anyway, record anyway. Patterns will emerge, guidance will sharpen. What begins as a whisper becomes a directive when you prove you will listen. This is not fantasy. This is the beginning of your operational mission. Operational means it touches life. It changes choices. It redirects energy. It brings coherence where there was fragmentation. You may be guided to speak to someone, to leave a space, to create something, to stop consuming what dulls you, to forgive, to confront, to rest, to step forward. These are not random self-help impulses. They are the codes moving into action. Third directive. Protect your mission's frequency from the consensus field of amnesia. Amnesia is not merely forgetting facts, it is forgetting essence. It is waking up and remembering your name but forgetting why your soul came. It is being busy and calling it purpose. It is being entertained and calling it life. The consensus field is powerful because it is normalized. It is the water most humans swim in. It tells you to value what is hollow, to fear what is true, to mock what is sacred, to chase what will never satisfy. Your newly reactivated light codes and awakened bridging abilities are precious and volatile in this stage. Volatile not because they are dangerous, but because they are sensitive. like a newly lit flame in a windy place. A flame does not need shame, it needs protection until it becomes a steady fire. Guard them from cynicism, from dilution by those not ready to receive, from environments that sap your remembering. Discernment is not arrogance. Discernment is stewardship. You are not required to convince anyone. You are not required to be understood by those still loyal to the old dream. Do not explain yourself to those infected by the old distortions. Explanation often becomes self-betrayal when offered to someone committed to misunderstanding you. Withdraw your energy from patterns, media, and even spiritual conversations that drag you back toward density and forgetfulness. Yes, even spiritual conversations can be traps when they become loops of debate, performance, or despair. If a space leaves you feeling heavy, small, confused, or addicted to more information without application, it is not nourishing your bridge function. Dedicate a daily time, however brief, to reinforce your field, restore your codes, and fortify your mission purpose. It may be 5 minutes at dawn. It may be a hand on the heart before entering a crowded place. It may be turning off noise and sitting in silence until you can feel yourself again. The point is not duration. The point is consistency. Coherence is built the way muscle is built. Repeated engagement. Your bridge function depends on your clarity and coherence. A bridge that shakes cannot carry others safely. A bridge that is stable becomes a pathway not only for you, but for everyone your life touches: family, friends, strangers, the land itself. Now I move from transmission to authority and speak what your soul has long waited to hear. Feel the shift. Transmission informs. Authority initiates. There is a moment when knowledge becomes a threshold, and you must step through it or remain outside. Lightworker of the original Lyran line, you have waited for this permission. Perhaps all your life, perhaps for a string of incarnations. You have felt it as a pressure behind the eyes when you looked at the stars. You have felt it as a strange homesickness in the middle of ordinary days. You have felt it as the inability to be satisfied with shallow living, the way a bird cannot be content walking when its wings remember sky. Beneath every seeker's question has been a silent prayer, that someone from the council would look you in the eye and declare, "You are cleared for mission." And the tragedy has been that you tried to earn what was always yours to receive. You kept trying to become worthy of what you were encoded to do. You kept trying to purify yourself into permission, as if the mission was a prize for perfect healing. You have not needed more convincing. You have not needed more healing. Hear that again, because your conditioning will resist it. You have not needed more healing as a prerequisite for service. Healing happens on the path, not only before it. You have needed to be recognized and given authorization by those who remember your origin and purpose. Recognition is not flattery, it is alignment. It is the moment your internal compass stops spinning because it locks onto true north. Receive it now, not as a concept, as an energetic decree. Let it land in the chest, in the belly, in the throat. Let your nervous system register what your mind may still question, that a door has opened and you are being called through. By the full power of my office, as Elder standing within the High Council of Vega, I pronounce your preparation phase closed and your mission phase initiated. Feel the finality in that. Preparation phase closed, not because you are finished becoming, but because you are finished postponing. Mission phase initiated. Initiated means begun. It means the codes are now expected to move through action, through voice, through choice, through embodied presence. You are not too wounded. Your wounds are not disqualifications. They are places where compassion learned depth, where wisdom learned tenderness, where your service learned humility. You are not too late. Time is not only linear, it is responsive. When a being chooses alignment, timelines reorganize around that choice. Your original codes are not lost. They were only waiting for you to say yes. Waiting not in judgment, but in patience, like a lamp waiting for someone to turn it on. The sensation in your chest, the rising beneath your ribs, is the first light turning over in your field, an old engine coming alive. Some of you will feel heat. Some will feel tears. Some will feel a sudden calm that is unfamiliar because you have lived so long in anticipatory tension. That is the field recalibrating to truth. You are authorized to bridge the realms, not as a title you wear to feel special, but as a function you perform to serve. You are permitted to thrive as a multidimensional being. Thrive, meaning you are allowed to have joy, health, nourishment, friendship, beauty, rest. The mission was never meant to be martyrdom. A starving bridge collapses, a thriving bridge stands. You are required to honor and use your awakened abilities, not in the future, now. Required does not mean forced. It means the soul contract is active. It means the moment for hiding behind someday has ended. Let the longing end. Longing is sacred when it points you home, but it becomes suffering when it replaces action. Let the mission begin. Not with grand gestures that impress others, but with the first true step you have been avoiding. The honest conversation, the daily practice, the boundary, the creative offering, the decision to stop betraying your body, the refusal to numb your sensitivity, the willingness to be seen. Before you sleep tonight, stand with both feet on the ground, place your hand on your solar plexus, and speak these words aloud. I release the lie that I am not ready. I activate my voice as an instrument of service. I protect my sacred energy for the mission I came to fulfill. By the authority of the Lyran elders, my waiting ends now. My service begins. When you speak them, do not rush. Let each sentence land like a seal pressed into wax. Your solar plexus is a sun. It is will. It is courage. It is the place where many of you have stored fear and self-doubt. Your hand is a signal to the body that you mean what you say. And if emotion rises, let it rise. That emotion is not weakness. It is the thawing of old paralysis. This session is concluded, but your commissioning is not. A session ends. A commissioning continues. Action is now your spiritual practice, not frantic doing, but aligned doing, not performative spirituality, but lived spirituality. Speak the words. Move as the bridge you have always been. Share this field with others, ready for activation. Not to recruit followers, but to locate fellow bridges, so the grid strengthens through coherent nodes. Remember, Gaia is not waiting for the flawless, but for the willing. Those who become channels of first light through their embodied present form. Gaia does not need you to be perfect. Gaia needs you to be here, fully here, in your body, in your breath, in your choices, in your love tempered with discernment, in your power guided by service. I am Zoran, Elder of Vega. You have been recognized, you have been authorized, and the field has registered your awakening. The grid responds when a bridge comes online. It is recorded, it is felt, it ripples outward into the places you have not even considered yet. The people you will meet, the moments you will unexpectedly be able to hold light, the timelines you will stabilize simply by staying coherent in chaos. Your mission has begun. Before you scroll, take a moment to declare your activation in the grid of service forming here. Drop one statement in the comments, which directive hit you the hardest, or what you're now ready to release, activate, or protect. Then respond to another Lightworkers declaration with recognition. This isn't content, it's collective mission activation. The Council witnesses those who speak their commitment aloud. If this transmission activated something in your soul, do not keep it to yourself. Another Lightworker in your orbit is waiting for exactly this correction and authorization. Share it. And if you felt the Elders speaking directly to you, subscribe. Stay connected to the Lyran field. You're not just watching, you're being commissioned. This is your sacred space. The High Council of Vega is witnessing you, and your mission has officially begun. If this transmission spoke to you, don't just walk away from it. Respond to it. Help carry this message further. Every act of support helps this transmission find the next starseed who needs it.